good evening, and welcome to the premiere performance of Sinister Cinema. While your host Victor is preparing himself, let's watch the first chilling episode of tonight's Sinister serial, The Flying Disc Man from Mars. We hope you've enjoyed that ridiculous first episode of The Flying Disc Man from Mars. Be sure to join us next week for Sinister Serial. And now, here's your host for Sinister Cinema, Victor Ives and friends.
Hello, I'm Victor, and this is my place, where every night is Halloween. My friends Dracula, the Mummy, Frankenstein, the werewolf, assorted monsters, and ghoul friends are so happy you could be with us tonight. We're frightfully happy. Sinister Cinema will be on the air every Saturday evening at 11:15. First, we start off with one of those ridiculous, repulsive serials from Republic in the 1940s. Those serials that we all love to hate. Then we go deep down into the vaults, underground at Television 2, and dig up a couple of musty old monster movies. Tonight's premiere brings us the granddaddy of them all, Frankenstein, the story of a scientist who runs amok because of his relentless pursuit for the secrets of life. Dr. Frankenstein creates a monster by putting together bits and pieces of human tissue, gathered by robbing graves, cutting down hanged corpses, and from wherever it is that mad scientists dig up their spare parts. Dr. Frankenstein, played by Colin Clive, might be known as the first man to really get it together, it being the monster, who, by the way, he forgot to name. Over the years, the monster has become to be known by the creator's name, a name whispered only to this very day in Bavaria and the backlots at Universal. For me? They're ready. Roll the film. Isn't this an invigorating motion picture? I certainly hope the children were allowed to stay up and watch it. After all, everybody needs an idol. The first motion picture of Frankenstein was 1910, a silent production filmed by Thomas Alva Edison. Unfortunately, not a single print of that motion picture is known to have survived. Tonight's 1931 version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was the first of many Universal films based on the character introduced in this, the singularly most famous horror film of all time. Interestingly enough, the role of the monster had bela Lugosi, who had just finished Dracula. Lugosi refused the part because he believed the heavy makeup would render him unrecognizable. The director, John Whale, then tested a British actor who had just finished a gangster film by the name of William Henry Pratt, whose stage name was Boris Karloff. Karloff submitted to the 4-hour makeup session and got the part. A few years before he passed away, Boris Karloff recorded these impressions of the role he created.
People queued up at box offices all over the country, breaking records. And afterwards, it was evident that millions all over the world felt sympathy for the monster. It was clear from the letters they sent that while they were terrified by my characterization, at the same time they pitied the monster that I portrayed. And that pleased me because it was exactly what I had hoped.
We'll return to Frankenstein after these messages from beyond.